Hello, my name's Ian Seeger from Pilot Career News. On the 6th and 7th of November, we held our very first virtual edition of Pilot Careers Live. We streamed over 30 different seminars with 60 speakers. There were 2 days packed full of great information. Of course, we recorded everything, and you're about to watch one of the videos from the event. Before you do, I just want to thank our sponsors, Bose, Alsim, Entro, and of course Pulis. Without them and without the exhibitors, it wouldn't be possible. The exhibitor pages are still live, so feel free to head on over there. Go to www.pilotcareerslive.com and click through to the exhibitors. There's loads of information, loads of downloads, all sorts of great stuff there for you. Anyway, enjoy the video, and if you find it useful, really appreciate it if you click subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. Q&A session, and thank you very much for joining us. We've got literally loads and loads of questions to get through, and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us again. I'm going to rattle through these as fast as I can because we have got a load. So if I ask you for an answer, if you could give me a punchy, succinct answer, that would be absolutely great. Thank you very much. One quick one for Tina. Does a fancy CV stand out, or is black and white simple speak more? Does black and white and simple speak more?
Think about the company you're applying to and the role. So completely up to you, but always, substance over style every time.
Great. Thank you very much. Quick one on, is a cover letter required for a Flying Training Academy CV? Well, I'm going to answer that. I'm going to say, at the moment, I'm sure that every Flying Training Academy will be pleased to receive your interest. What's the difference? Let's move down to, just scrolling down quick, Bristol Ground School one. I've got Alex here to my left. Will Bristol Ground School continue as an Austro-Control exam centre once Brexit happens? Asking for a friend.
Yes, tell your friend yes.
Tell your friend yes. We'll have to come back to that a little while. There's a question for Michael Dr. Fonzo here. Is there a weight limit to be a pilot? If so, what's the figure?
BMI of 35.
BMI.
So that's a combination of your weight and height.
Is there clearly it doesn't apply to me, but is there a lower BMI?
No, there isn't a lower limit. There's an upper limit. There isn't a lower limit as such. There's an upper limit. The lower limit more refers to your health. So anything under 18 BMI would require investigation to make sure you haven't got an underlying health problem.
Thank you very much. Great. Can you pass a Class 1 medical with asthma?
It depends. Every case is assessed on its merit. So potentially yes.
I'm going to guess the answer is the same. Is there a problem if I have an irregular heartbeat or heart flutters?
It depends what the underlying cause is.
Can I be a professional commercial pilot if I have an astigmatism?
It depends on the value. The threshold for astigmatism is 2. So anything over 2 would require investigation. And if there's no underlying pathology, there shouldn't be a reason why not.
A typo, or have I missed something? Are OMLs still issued on Class 1 medicals?
OML, yes, but for those who hold the license already, so the OML is for a Class 1 commercial pilot who's got a license. If you haven't got a license, then there will be individual restrictions that will apply to enable you to train, but that is dependent on the aviation authority you're registered under.
Thank you. And OML is a new acronym for me.
OML is Operate Multi-Crew Limitation, so in other words, fly as or with co-pilot.
Fantastic, thank you very much. When it comes to hearing, how strict are the rules, or are there any deviations possible?
Very strict, I'm afraid.
Should have said pardon. Let's just scroll down, see if we can give Michael a little bit of a rest for a second. Where are we going? No, they're all medical questions at the moment. I think medical.
Can I just, Phil, whilst you're looking for a question, the question about providing a cover letter to a training academy, you do what they ask you to do is the answer to that question. So some of them will have online application forms. Just fill in the online application form. So send them what they ask for.
Thank you very much. And has ATPL training been affected by the pandemic? What happens if I get COVID during training? Ollie, how about one of your students gets COVID? What happens? They self-isolate and pick up when they're better?
Yeah, USA to self-isolate absolutely in your room for 2 weeks, and then so it's the similar rules-ish, and then you could probably have a test. Then as long as you're clear, you can continue training.
Thank you very much. There was a question earlier. It's dropped off of the screen now, and it may have been asked to the for a gliding question, which was, and I'm going to guess I know the answer of this, is, does gliding make you a better pilot? And if both of you say, no, absolutely not, then I'm afraid we're just going to have to close your windows. So we'll go for yes then.
I'd say absolutely. When I went to do my MPPL training, I'd done 3 flights when I was in a Cessna 152 then. So all the things you learn in gliding are directly transferable. So yes.
Fantastic. Thanks. You can ask them. Simtech Aviation. Can T1 diabetics obtain a PPL?
They can.
Subject to some very strict controls whilst they've got it, yes.
Thank
In
you.
the UK. In the UK.
Would rhinitis affect your medical examination?
Not necessarily, no.
Kidney stones affect the ability to get a Class 1 medical?
Again, not necessarily. All these cases are assessed on their merit. So if you've passed the kidney stone, then there's no problems. If you still have the kidney stone, it depends where the kidney stone is sitting. So the whole idea is depends on the risk of the kidney stone moving, which causes pain. So each case on its individual merit.
And what if your BMI is higher than 35 due to muscle mass rather than being overweight?
So unfortunately, they make a distinction
between muscle mass and fat per se. So it's just a pure BMI of 35.
And what happens if your BMI is over 35? Is that like a
unfortunately, you get to spend quite a lot of money because then you need to go and see a cardiologist to check that your BMI doesn't have an impact on your heart and you don't have an underlying coronary blockage, for example. So further tests, in essence, to prove to the CAA that there isn't an underlying problem. Then you'll also need a medical flight test. In other words, whatever aircraft type you're flying, you'll need an instructor to make a determination that your weight doesn't impact your handling of the aircraft.
Okay, so more muscle just might mean more money.
Yes.
Okay, there's a question highlighted in yellow here, which I guess is because someone's keen to have it answered. Ben, Ben's the person asking the question, not the person I'm asking. I've transferred solid to IAA as I want both EASA and UK licenses. UK said they'll accept an EASA Class 1 for up to 2 years when I reval my EASA Class 1. Can I get a UK revalidation at the same time, and is it the same standards?
Is that for me?
Yep.
Not yet. The same rules apply as a pilot can't hold two EASA member state licenses at the same time. You cannot equally hold 2 EASA member state medicals at the same time. After the 31st of December this year, if we've fallen out, we've crashed out without a deal, then you would be theoretically able to hold a UK license and an IA license or medical. At the moment, you can't hold both.
Thank you very much. Let's just scroll. How are we doing? It's a question for Tina. Someone was saying, if airlines care about your past jobs, what sort of job should you apply for while you're saving money for flight training? What's going to look good on the CV as a job?
So again, very individual, but I would say any kind of role that's going to develop you, in terms of the pilot competency. So even things like, having a really good standing in customer service, understanding the commercial aspects of a business, team working, they're all going to help you later down the line, to get noticed. So, just think about what you need as a pilot and think about other ways in which those transferable skills could be utilised.
Thank you. Quick question for Marnie here. Someone's asking, do you know of any opportunities available anywhere in the aviation industry at the moment? Can you unmute? Thank you.
There are still airlines that are actually accepting applications. So the likes of Wizz Air, I believe, Ryanair, still accepting applications. I'm not sure in the last 2 weeks whether that's still applicable, but they were as of quite recently.
So basically, if you're looking for opportunities in aviation, that's going to be changing fairly regularly, and you need to kind of stay on top of things and stay engaged and keep looking
Absolutely.
as much as you can.
I think for now it's if you can get an application in, great. Put yourself in the pool. If you just look out, get informed, and research.
Fantastic, thank you. Any other questions you picked up along the way that we need to?
Gosh, there were lots. There was another question in there about diabetes. Did we get that one asked?
I think we got the diabetes, and I think the answer was it depends, wasn't it?
The answer is in the UK,
possibly yes.
All right, sorry. Okay. And just whilst Ian's scanning through, we mentioned in the female pilot session earlier quite a number of links to organisations and sponsorships and scholarships that are available. So we're going to try and put those up on our website later. So look out for those as well. Have you found any more there, Ian?
I've found another Class 1 medical question, which is, if I get a Class 1 and choose not to revalidate it after a year, how long is it before I need to do another initial compared to a revalidation?
5 years.
5 years, there you go. Your answers, Michael, are just too precise and too quick.
We get these questions quite a lot.
I think we are done on the...
Oh, there's another one.
No. Oh, dear. Medical question. Back in February 2019, I had a pneumothorax. Now completely recovered, is that still a problem?
Again, necessarily, it depends what treatment you had, whether it was open surgery or closed surgery. It all depends. And also it depends how many pneumothoraces you've had. So it's not necessarily a problem. As with most of these cases, we will look at it the CA looks at it on the individual merits.
So basically, it's check with your AME.
Exactly, yes. So the good news is it's not an automatic no. That's the good news.
That is good news. Excellent. Well done.
I think something new just came through
new just came through here. Sorry, we're kind of scrolling up and down on the screen.
They all come in different orders. That one, yeah.
There you go. Question for medical. Are there any other doctors here who want to give Michael a break, or is everyone just happy to carry on listening to him? Or we could just make up the answers. I don't know. I have a nerve disease that would not affect me flying. Is there a way to ask medical examiners whether this would prevent me obtaining a Class 1 without having to spend pounds to get a no?
It's possible. Depends who you talk to. So some people might entertain it and see. So I would go on the CA website and look for your closest area medical examiner and ask the question.
Drop them an email.
You can find them just doing a Google search, find an AME and put your region, and those in your area will come up.
Now, there's another question, another medical question that's come up.
We're laughing because I'm going to leave Ian to ask this one.
I'm not sure if it's just someone in the other room writing some stuff out to see if I can pronounce it, because I've never heard of it before. Question for medical. Can you pass a medical for a PPL if you have any clotting spondylitis?
Ankylosing spondylitis.
There we go. Yeah. So that's an inflammatory condition of the spine. Again, yes, you can. It depends on what impact it's having on you, whether it's debilitating or whether it's caused a restriction in your function. So again, it depends on what the impact is on you as an individual, because people have it to different degrees. So it's not an automatic no. And also, you've got to look at, sometimes it's associated with other conditions. So you've got to look at it in sort of holistically. So it's not an automatic no.
Thank you. I've never heard of that personally. Hands up on the panel. Who else had heard of that? There you go. That's it. Ellie has asked, what questions should I ask a flight school? Alex, perhaps you can answer that one. It's a very
depends on the flight school. The first question should be, do I have to pay any money up front? And if the answer's a significant yes, you should probably go and look somewhere else. And the second question would be, can I talk to some of your past students?
Okay, thank you. Good start. And some nods of approval there. Does anyone on the panel like to add some extra questions that Ellie can ask flight schools?
Yeah, I think they should be asked what kind of support they can offer their students when they finish, and what kind of recurrent packages they can offer. Do they offer competency assurance packages, so that if for some reason during your training you have a bit of a blip, which happens, that what kind of assurances can they give them that they'll help the student through or give them their money back? Which is something that a lot of schools are doing now. So do make sure that you ask loads of questions. It's your right to ask questions. It's a huge investment.
That sort of assurance, I think, would be welcome from an integrated school or a school offering MPLs, but probably less relevant for somebody who's doing a private pilot license or an instrument rating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's important. I think as an industry, we sometimes see a cadet as someone who's going through flight training, which clearly they are. But these people are spending almost certainly what is likely to have been their biggest single purchase in their life. It's a huge amount of money, and they are a very significant customer and have as you say, Marnie, every right to ask as many questions and do as much research as possible and to make the best informed decision they possibly can. There we go. I believe that is the end of the time we've got. I would like to thank you all very much. Michael, thank you very much for your quick-fire answers there. Very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody there. And we're moving over to the next panel. And if there are any other questions that come through, we'll try and address those either on the website later or tonight or somewhere in the wash-up or a later session. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.